Good morning, everybody. Nice, relaxing morning to read the paper, don't you think? Excuse me. I'm gonna sip coffee. Actually, I have hot and cold beverages so that whatever I'm in the mood for will work. So here's today's paper. In the local area I'm staying at the moment, Sacramento. Does Sacramento... Look at this weird thing. Why do they do this? They put this thing on here to fool you, see? So you'll read ads that you don't want to read. Look at all the ads. Speaking of ads, look at all this back here. All kinds of back-to-school sale stuff. It's almost Labor Day, isn't it? I don't think I have to worry about my back-to-school shopping. I already have a backpack, and I think I graduated a while ago, although I can't quite remember. J.C. Penney, are they still in business? They were around when I was a kid. That was about 150 years ago. So we'll put the ads. Put the ads aside, and we'll take this weird thing off the front. If we can get it off of there. I'm gonna have to take the sections apart, to do this right. See, this was just an ad for major appliances and stuff. $6,000? What's that for? Are you kidding me? Do you have $6,000 to spend on kitchen appliances? Because if you do, this is supposed to be some kind of Labor Day sale right there. So, those must be some hella good appliances for that price. Wall oven, gas cooktop, dishwasher, and refrigerator. Okay. I guess if you're redoing your kitchen completely, then maybe, but it seems a little steep as a sales price to me. And tossed out on the floor where it belongs. Maybe we can use it in the kitty litter box. What do you think? All right, what's going on in today's headlines? Okay, there was a big quake. That's kind of depressing. It was in Italy. It leveled entire towns. Now, that's not very soothing, but you can be soothed if you don't live there. I used to go over there for business to a place very close to this area, which is kind of northwest of Rome. And where I went, it was L'Aquila. And there's a big electronics company there that I would visit when I was in the rocket science business. And when they had their big quake a couple years ago, in roughly the same area, it messed up the town really bad. They had to rebuild the whole company, and we couldn't do business with them for a couple years. I think now that was about 3 years ago. But anyway, it's right in the middle of Italy where that occurred, so we can have them in our thoughts. I have a brother who's going over on a little vacation at this moment to Italy, but I don't think that's the area he'll be visiting. It's Amatrice, it's northwest of Rome, maybe 60 miles or something like that. All right, whatever else is going on. An Earth-like planet. Jerry Brown, our state governor, gets the climate bills. All right, let's see. Here we are. students gain slightly on Common Core tests. I guess that's appropriate since it's school starting time again. How is it where you live? Here in the Sacramento area, the students all started back to school like 2 or 3 weeks ago, which is a little strange, it seems to me, in the middle of August or early August. Because when I was growing up, we'd go back right after Labor Day. Excuse me, I need a sip of coffee to focus on this student and how they did on Common Core article. Let's see what it says. Sacramento students made modest progress in English and math based on new state test results. 50% of students met the basic English standards, and 40% met basic math standards, up from 37%. So they're crowing about half of students know some English and less than half know some math. This is supposed to be a good result. My goodness, how the mighty have fallen. School was tough when I was there. But you always hear that, don't you? From someone who was older, like, oh, when I was your age, I had to walk 5 miles through the snow to get to school. And we didn't have any cell phones, and no video games for when we got home. Should I bore you with stories like that? No, I won't, okay? Even though I'm tempted to, okay? So, let's see. 95, okay, at a private school close by contrast, 95% of the students met or exceeded the standards on the English test. While 6 miles away, in Arden, only 4% of the students met the standard. Wow. At Encina High School, this is what happens when, well, I'm not going to say, okay? Not right now. New parents celebrate arrival of a rainbow baby. What does that mean? Okay, they have lost a baby before. There's the rainbow baby, okay? See, it's got a rainbow quilt. At a home in Roseville. That's very close to where I'm staying. I'm staying in a town called, well, let's see if you can guess. It's a animal that is a prey animal, a grazing animal that grazes on the plains of Africa, okay? You have 3 guesses, okay? It's not a water buffalo. That's not the name of the town I'm in. No, wrong, okay? It's not a zebra. I don't live in Zebra, California. Right now I'm living in a place called Antelope, and I know a lot of you guessed it. Anyway, what's this rainbow baby about? Theo Jonas Ferguson, born screeching on August 18th. Hey, that's pretty close to when my first grandchild was born, Emerald. I'll bore you sometime with a video about her, an ASMR video about her, 'cause it's probably my first and only grandchild. I don't feel like a granddad, though. I think because I have the mind of a 29-year-old still. But I do have the body of a grandfather, I think. Anyway, graybeards, they call us, graybeard, in the aerospace world, Anyway, let's see what happened. They had complications when they lost their other baby. But they returned home last week with their rainbow baby, a new term for a child born to a family that has already lost a baby. A rainbow symbolizes the beauty or the hope that comes after the storm, which is the sadness of losing a child before. Okay, this is a nice story. Heartwarming story, right? So, I like that. It's nice to have a heartwarming story now and then. Here's a heartwarming story about a lawyer, okay? This lawyer was in his limousine, had millions of dollars, and he's driving home, and he sees this guy by the side of the road eating grass. Actually, two guys eating grass by the side of the road. Not marijuana grass, even though this is California and Oregon area, okay. Grass in a field, right? So he stops, he says, "Stop the limo." So he gets out and he says to the man, "Why are you eating grass?" And the man says, "I'm hungry and I have no food. I'm very poor." So the lawyer says, "Get into my limo." And the man says, "But wait, I have 3 poor children also." And he says, "That's okay. You and your 3 children get in and I'll provide for you." So then the other man, he looks at the other man and he says, "Are you eating grass because you're poor also?" And that man says, "Yes, I'm very poor and I'm hungry, so I'm eating grass." And he says, "Get into my limo with, I'll take you to my place and take care of it." And the guy says, "But I have 6 hungry children." Also, he says, "Invite them all, come on. It'll be crowded, but you can all get into my stretch limo." So the 2 poor men eating grass and all of their children pile in, right? They're heading to the lawyer's house. And the 2 guys say to him, "Wow, you are really generous. How come you're so generous to take all of us home to your place?" And the lawyer says, "Well, it's not that generous." He says, "Really?" He says, "It's nothing. At my house, I have a big field where the grass is about 1 foot tall right now, okay? All right, so did you really think I was going to tell you a joke where the lawyer turned out to be a good guy? Okay, you know better than that. You can thumb down if you think that I should stick to leaving the jokes to the professionals, all right? It's okay. I won't fault you. All right, now, look at this. Interstate 80. Lane closures cause major weekend delays, okay? I got caught on this last weekend when I was trying to visit my new baby grandchild. She was only a few days old. I went down back and forth for the time when she was being born, Kept me pretty busy because it's about 100 miles away in the Bay Area. But they closed the lanes right where I needed to go. Made it really difficult to get out of town. They close them on the weekend right when everybody wants to go to the coast, okay? So, creates quite a mess, and they're doing it again this weekend. Look, there's a county called Yolo County. And there's a Yolo River. There's a YOLO, and that stands for something. And I can't remember what in the modern lexicon. Can someone tell me in comments so I don't lose my mind? I'd appreciate it. Let's see what else is going on. Alleged restaurant attacker arraigned. Ooh. A newly hired dishwasher injured 2 coworkers during a lunchtime rampage, and he was arraigned for felony assault. I guess he was unhappy that so many people were eating and dirtying the dishes. Whoops, that's the child home. Home celebrates 150 years of taking care of little kids. That's good. Here's the story. Restaurant attacker. What does it say? Why did he do this? Let's find out. Princeton Malitza stood expressionless behind bars. Blah, blah, blah. Assault with a deadly weapon. What did he do? He punched a restaurant server during a run for wood behind the building before the server subdued him in a chokehold. He returned for a face-off with the server, grabbed a pan to... Why, there was like pots and pans involved in this melee. The server received injuries to the wrist and the back of his head. The floor manager had a deep gash on the side of his head. A cook said Malitza's face looked unearthly gray, and he was frothing at the mouth. My goodness. Before that, he was described as quiet and polite. All right, so you see, the moral of the story is, be kind to the people doing the dishes, and but also, if you're going to be hired at a restaurant, expect to be having to do some work, okay? Let's see. Fire creates a snag at Jellystone. Oh, I mean Yellowstone. Yogi Bear calls it Jellystone National Park. What's this article about? Look at this. ID's wrong. See there? It says ID's wrong in both photos at Iwo Jima, the Marines say. Since the photo was in February, since the photo was in 1945, both photos, don't you think it's a little bit late to be correcting the photo? It seems to me this news is a little bit old, a little stale. Ooh, look at this story. Senator is quiet. U.S. Democrat Senator Joe Manchin remained quiet Wednesday when it turns out the pharmaceutical company run by his daughter jacked up the price of EpiPens by about 700%. EpiPens is the pen you need if, I saw this story last night on the news on TV. It's the pen you need if you have allergies to a bee sting or a kind of fish or pretty much anything. If you get a reaction where your throat is swelling up and you're gonna die, kids need these too. You have to get an injection with an EpiPen. Well, the company that makes them, I guess, has some scam with the government where they got to be the sole provider. It cost $2 to make one of these EpiPens, and now they charge $700, okay, for two of them, for something that costs $2 to make. So I think that's quite a ripoff, don't you? This is what happens when you have a monopoly between the government medical complex. Medicare gets ripped off, and all of us pay through the nose. Turkey aids rebels in attacks on IS. North Korean missile increases range. That crazy guy in North Korea is up to no good again. What is that crazy guy's name, do they say here? See, North Korea, the most insane regime on the planet, are always saber-rattling about starting nuclear war because they say we all want to invade them. Now let me ask a reasonable question. Why would anyone want to invade a country that is got absolutely nothing that anyone would ever want, okay? A cold, dark, backwards, economy that's decades, no, centuries behind the times due to their hardcore cult of personality, Stalinist, communist regime. And you look at a Google map sometime, go to Earth View, and look at North and South Korea at night. Google it. South Korea all lit up with lights and cities and towns. North Korea all dark. They can't even run electricity at night, okay? Why would anyone want to invade? So instead of spending their money, what tiny, meager amount they have, on trying to do some farming or coming into this century like their cousins in the South, they're spending it on trying to make nuclear weapons and rockets. That's what happens when one crazy family dynasty, King Kim Jong-un, is in charge. What else? Stuff's kind of, let's see what's on the back of the front page. Is that an oxymoron? The back of the front page, the front of the back page. Pfizer, this is the business section. Pfizer's buying the rights to AstraZeneca drugs. Not too interested in that. Starbucks wins a frosty ruling on iced drinks. Starbucks. A lawsuit accused Starbucks of misrepresenting the size of the cold drinks, and it has been dismissed by a federal judge. The California lawsuit was filed, blah, blah, blah. Because the total liquid volume included the drink and the ice, not just the beverage itself. No wonder the judge dismissed it. Don't you learn in grade school that when you put ice in a drink, it increases the volume in the glass? I think anyone who goes to Starbucks would know that if they buy an iced drink, the total volume is going to be increased by the amount of ice. It won't be a shock to them that there'll be a little bit less of the drink in there, okay? But anyway, you buy a 16 ounce iced tea or iced coffee. Just ask for it without the ice, if you don't want to have the volume diluted. People bring lawsuits for everything, don't they? All right. What else is going on? Let's see if there's anything else in this here. Oh, I might go crazy if I read this story. Lawmakers and Brown claim big victory on climate change bills. Okay, look. Let me explain it this way in simple terms because I do follow the science very closely. I follow about 25 websites that relate to climate change, including all the ones with the raw data, okay? They're not political sites, they're scientific sites, like the National Oceanic Administration, Atmosphere Administration, the government's NOAA. You can go on that site for yourself and find out that sea level rise is running 1.5 to 3 millimeters a year and has been doing so for hundreds of years with no change, okay? So there's no increase in the rate of sea level rise. It's been rising for 10,000 years now, since the last ice age. So when you hear these scare stories that the coastal areas will be under 20 feet of water any time now, please keep in mind that that is just a bunch of made up crap, okay? Yes, I know the Arctic ice pack is a little less than it used to be, but, by the way, it's been running about the same year over year for several years. The global temperature running about the same now for 14 years straight, no increase. By the way, the Antarctic ice pack, which is much larger than the Arctic ice pack, is at record high levels since measurements began. Record high. You can look it up for yourself. So now that doesn't mean I think we should put as much carbon into the atmosphere as possible. Obviously not, okay? We should get efficient, we should encourage solar and clean nuclear and hydropower and all those things where it's economically feasible. Natural gas, wind power, whatever. All right, all that's good. We should conserve, yes. I don't think we should all be running around in giant trucks because our manhood is too small and we have to compensate with a big, giant Ford Explorer or whatever. A Cadillac SUV, but, a Dodge Daytona, okay? We don't need those giant vehicles for the most part, unless you're a rancher or something, a farmer. But, so I'm not saying, yes, carbon dioxide is going up in the atmosphere. Yes, it is. It's going up to 700 ppm or something. But the fact is, okay, I want to get scientific, not political, but here is my comment. What these guys in the state of California are doing will have absolutely zero point zero effect on global climate change. However, they will have one effect, one powerful effect, and that is they're going to cost all the poor working folks here a fortune, both at gas pump and in their electric bills, particularly in their electric bills. And of course, everything we buy that is manufactured will be higher in price as well, because they're doing their carbon trading cap and trade scheme. That's my political commentary for today. If you believe that climate change is a disaster, okay, go ahead and believe it. I'm not going to fault you, since you've been told that by a whole bunch of people that have not the slightest idea what the data really says, okay? For them, it's all about politics. Can we get more money and control people more? That's their agenda, all right? So, sometime I will do an ASMR on climate change, and we will talk about just the science, not politics, not saying we should waste, not saying we don't need to conserve, just the science, the measurements, the data. What does it really actually say? That's what we want to know before we decide to bankrupt ourselves with stupid policies that will have zero effect on the globe. Okay? Now, what else do we have here? Politics. I'm going to skip it and see if there's anything interesting. Something about self-driving car. Look. EpiPen. Oh, here's a whole article on that EpiPen thing. Putting a price on the cost of life. And this is about that Mylan Specialty, the pharmaceutical company that jacked the price of their 2-pen EpiPens. Here it says $600 for the pen that costs $2 to make, by the way. Jacked it up to astronomical heights that we're all paying for. Schools have to stock them. Medicare has to supply them. And I don't want to talk politics or medicine because I might get depressed. Sorry if there's a loud noise. Self-driving cars could cut parking. What does that mean? Make parking easier or tougher? Parking rate increases will raise the cost by 50% with self-driving cars. I don't understand that. But here's the article. I don't think I want to read about it. I don't even think I want to read about that one. Instead, let's see what the 5-day forecast is, because you really want to know about the weather, right? It's been really hot here. But if you look at the forecast, it's for temperatures to run, excuse me, noises on the back. There's always something noisy happening here, so back to what we were talking about. See the temperature bars here? They're running well under normal for this time of year, August. Out on the coast of California, the town I came from, Scotts Valley, temperatures are running way below normal, like in the 60s and stuff, 67 for a high. Normally in August it's 90 there. So, like I said, of course, climate and weather are not the same thing, but we are breaking far more low temperature records in the northern hemisphere over the last 10 years than high temperature records, by the way. Just one data point of many hundreds that I try to review and watch. In thinking about this little matter of climate change. Now, Earth-like planet. Earth-like planet may orbit a nearby star. Let's see. I've always been interested in astronomy, you know. Let's see what it says. Another Earth could be circling the star right next door to us. By right next door, they mean trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of miles away. Something about the Goldilocks zone, a planet. Let's see. Proxima Centauri is the name of the star, the closest neighbor to our solar system. I wonder if they say how far it is. Oh, yeah, 25 trillion miles away. So I did say trillions and trillions, which is accurate because, well, I said it 3 times, but if you had 10 trillion, 10 trillion, and 5 trillion, that would be 25 trillion, wouldn't it? Extremely close, though, in cosmic terms, because you could reach there in about 10,000 lifetimes, right? So maybe Elon Musk can get a rocket trip journey planned to go over there and check it out, this planet that's in the Goldilocks zone. That means a zone where maybe water could exist. The planet's size and distance from its parent star might be okay, but much about it is still mysterious. Yeah, we can't see planets at that distance. We have to infer them from slight perturbations in the star they're orbiting around and slight changes in the light, things like that. Wobbles in the starlight, slight color shifts is how they... I need some cold drink in my... I want to ask you a question. First, I'll sip the last of this. Refreshing melt water from my diet A&W root beer. But let me ask you something. I had a 6-pack, you know, and when I got down to the last one, is this the height of laziness? You tell me. I didn't take it out of its plastic wrapping pack because I don't want any animal life to, you know, get stuck in this thing. So that's my excuse, you know, but really it's just laziness. So I'm pouring it like this, right from this into my big mug of ice. And I'll let you listen to the fizz. Can you hear the carbonation? This is quite yummy because I've always loved A&W root beer. It's got, look what it says, made with aged vanilla, okay? As opposed to vanilla that hasn't been sitting around long enough. Now I got my voice back. Maybe, okay. CIA releases summaries from the Nixon and Ford era. again, why are we going back 5 decades in the news, you know? I think people would have been interested in 1973, but I'm not so sure right now if they're interested in that. What else is going on? Some stuff about internet gambling. Because the legislature here, where is it? There we are. And somebody's writing a letter to the editor saying, you should allow internet poker. It's a game of skill, not luck. I mean, luck is involved. I happen to agree with that because it actually is a game of skill. I'm a poker player, as you know. In fact, I'm going to put up a couple of ASMR videos on a poker game called Omaha that you might not be familiar with, where you have 4 cards in your hand. I don't have my card deck here. This is letters to the editor. Argument for tunnels is not logical, it says. This again is our state legislature wanting to make us spend billions of dollars to ship water in tunnels, water that we don't have, to places like Southern California, okay? I don't want to do it. Another black eye for pharma. Wow. That's 3 articles now in this paper. I think this is about the EpiPen thing again. Yep. About how they increased the price several 100%. And, you know, that's not very good. But 3 articles in one paper, wow. Millennials attracted to enhanced camping. What does that mean? I guess we'll have to look and see. I think you subbies are probably in a lot of different areas and not so interested in our local sports. So I won't bore you too much with that. But let's see what this millennial thing was about. Oh, here it is. Parks unveil cabins to court millennials. And they showed, oh, I just dropped the paper on the floor, the rest of it. This looks weird to me. This looks very weird to me. Millennials love getting out in nature, as long as they have a cozy place to hang with their friends and plug in their iPhones. So instead of a tent, they show this. Isn't that kind of a jarring scene to you? I don't like that. It doesn't match. It doesn't match the environment. This weird, angular, modern design cabin with iPhone plugins and luxuries. That's not camping. Is it? Is that camping? Of course, there are a lot of older folks who like to go take big luxury RVs all over the country, right? So maybe I shouldn't complain, I don't know. Let's see if there's anything in the paper that fell on the floor. More of an article about the cabin. Oh, there's a fishing report. I didn't even know that was in the paper. And as you know, I like to go fishing. Look. Fishing line, it says. Fishing line. let's see if there's anything good happening with fishing. It's been so hot, I didn't want to go because the Sacramento Valley is kind of hot in the summer. But since it's cooling off a bit, let's see what it says. Salmon and striped bass in the Delta from Freeport, wherever that is, to Dillon Point State Park. I'm going to have to check that out. Trollers. That doesn't mean people on the internet doing haters being haters. Trollers means you're in a boat trolling a lure behind your boat. San Joaquin River. Largemouth bass are doing some biting. Plastic worms. If I was a bass, I don't think I would like a plastic worm. But of course, all those artificial lures, doesn't it seem unfair that we lure those poor fish with pretend food? I mean, even if it's their last meal, they grab it and it's just a hunk of plastic or metal. That seems a little unfair to me, but I'll still fish anyway, okay? Sacramento River. Salmon, further up by Red Bluff. About 1 fish per rod on flatfish or roe. I might have to do some. And in Sacramento, king salmon being caught near Miller Park, Freeport, and Garcia Bend. Okay, I'm going to have to look all those up and see what's going on with that. All we have left is the TV thing and the horoscope. Let me sip this. This is going to be another long video, so by now you're fast asleep. So you don't care what I'm talking about by now. I can say whatever I want. I can talk about sex and rock and roll and politics. Dad dating ex-wife. Oh, the gossip page. Dear Abby. Dear Abby. Dad dating ex-wife causes daughter to feel betrayed. Dear Abby, my dad was married to a woman named Cynthia, in quotes, for 16 years until they divorced. He met and married my mother the next year. My parents were married for 40 years. So let's see, 16 years marriage plus 40 years. That's 56 years of marriage so far. That means the dad has to be at least 74 or something. Until Mom died of cancer a year ago. Since her death, I have gone with my dad to holiday events hosted at other daughter houses where we saw them and Cynthia. Everyone was cordial and welcoming. A few days ago, Dad told me that he and Cynthia, the first wife, are dating and asked me to wish them luck. My immediate reaction was, why? I left immediately, and I have ignored his phone calls ever since. I cannot express how upset this made me. How dare he, after 40 years of marriage, go back to the first wife when my mom died? Okay, start dating again, but his ex-wife? It feels like a huge betrayal of my mother. Maybe the mother will come back and haunt him. What do you think? In the middle of the night? Blah, blah, blah. I'm so wronged, It goes on and on. I'm sure she's going to correct the daughter, but let's see what she says, see if I'm right. Dear daughter, if you are never okay with this, you will punish only yourself. Your father's divorce from Cynthia appears to have been amicable. His attraction to her may have more to do with the fact that he's drawn to someone familiar to him than any lack of feeling for you and your mother, who is now passed away. Instead of punishing him by ignoring his calls, I urge you to talk to him. What he is doing is not disrespectful. He has mourned your mother's death for more than a year. He didn't jump right in the sack with her a day later. Okay, that's not what it says. Okay, I just made that up. He has mourned her for a year. Let him find happiness if he can. Remember, I calculated he must be at least 75 or so. So I doubt he's thinking in terms of starting any new families or anything. I predict it will spill over into your own life. Somebody's texting me, so you heard the ding. So I think that's about it. Anyway, I think we should wrap it up, don't you? Because I think I'm going to put myself to sleep if I keep reading all this stuff. What else? Just some ads, I think, is all I have left. Anything good that you need to buy? Would you like to get a cordless leaf sweeper? What else do they have here? Lowe's. How about some moving boxes? Okay, hold on. Okay, so after the AC kicked on and the phone rang and the refrigerator hissed and the clock dinged, I'm back to at least say goodbye, because I had to take care of all that noisy business. And this is when I'm here by myself. You should hear it around here when there's lots of other people around. Look at all the faucets in here that you can buy. Are they all on sale? Okay. I don't really like this new style, but everybody to their own thing, right? Are you ready to upgrade your bathroom? All kinds of vanities in here and everything like that. I gotta put that whole paper back together. It's sitting all over the floor now. So before I go, let me just say, please relax and be soothed. And I hope this was enjoyable and mellow for you. And of course, don't ASMR and drive at any time. Don't text and drive either, okay? I never would do such a thing. I have learned. I have watched many accidents occur all around me. I had someone slam into me from behind last year who was texting and driving while I was sitting at a red light. I didn't like that. I don't like being rear-ended. I don't like being rear-ended by drug companies or by lawyers or by people texting on their phone when they're driving, okay? Anyway, take care, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.